But at least they're off our backs for now, which is really the critical phase when we're just consolidating our position in Iberia. So that's some welcome news. I don't imagine Castile... Okay, wow, we still have 6 loans. But we are paying them off quickly. Our inflation, though. 15.5 inflation, but it is going down. Interesting. Interesting indeed. Okay, something I missed. I think I missed my gold mine in Tavilo being depleted. Because if I recall correctly, I had 17... Did I? I can't even remember. But it's at 9 now. And 9's the level at which, if it exceeds, it has the risk of depleting. So I think my mine in Tavilo did deplete and I missed it. So... Interesting that... I mean, that's the risk you run, and the risk increases exponentially once you go well above 9, but it served us well, and we do have, so that means overall our inflation is now coming down, when coupled with the fact that we have that yearly inflation advisor reduction. Now, emirs, Sevilla is assigned to the emir's estate. I'm going to want to change that in the future. That's got to be a merchant's guild, because that will just bolster the trade power by even more. But for the time being, I'll take it. Temples. Got plenty of good places to build temples, but I want to get my loans paid off with first. Yeah, in hindsight, I would have really rather liked taking over the Gold Coast from Portugal, but I would have contributed to our... Well, actually, it wouldn't have bolstered our aggressive expansion that much, because it's often an off a theatre, but... Spend 10 favours to increase Ottoman's trust with us. Well, we have a ton of favours. I want to see what happens when we get higher trust levels, so I'll do that, since our alliance with the Ottomans is kind of holding us together at the moment. Borrowing increases once more. Another one of those decisions that you get when you have high inflation. Another administrative manpower down the drain. So let's start reducing our inflation, since we've completed our administrative idea group, finished our cores, and we don't really want to invest much more in administrative tech levels. Start fabricating claims in Castile. We did win a 100% war score conflict, so that puts the truce timer on a 15-year truce, I think, which is a long time. But on the plus side, Portugal is on a shorter truce timer, so probably a good idea targeting them next. Ah, look at that. Tunis took Majorca. Now that's interesting, because if I'm not mistaken, we need the Balearics or Majorca as territory in order for us to complete the Granada Re-Reconquista Ironman achievement run. And Tunis is currently allied with us, so we're going to have to fight Tunis at some point in the future, almost inevitably. And if we're going to have to fight Tunis, who are allied with Ottomans and have been for a long time, it looks like in the future we're going to have to fight the Ottomans as well. Now that's going to be interesting. But that's the logical deduction from seeing that province occupied by Tunis. Interesting stuff. That'll be fun, fighting Tunis and the Ottomans. Not near... I mean, we can maybe hold our own against France, against the Ottomans. Not in our present capacity. But in 50 or 60 years, we'll see. 50 or 60 years, we can do a lot. Who knows, might even be able to take France and Ottoman simultaneously. Brittany's left a coalition against us. They finally understand that we pose no threat. Well, we don't pose any threat to Brittany. Portugal, Castile and Aragon, however, that's another story. Free loans. Free loans to go. Reduce inflation. Inflation reduced by 0.03% per year. We're getting it down slowly. Yeah, Tafilialt. Yeah, Tafilialt did. The mine did deplete, so I must have missed that. I should probably boost my development in this province to bring our production up to 9. That'll ensure we get the maximum amount of gold income from that province without Aragon has left a coalition, without having the mine deplete. Interesting, I must have missed that. Very interesting indeed. But yeah, we had, because our development production in Tafilialt is 9 and our administrative is like 7 and military 7. That means I would have had to bring it up to 7 and 7 to bring the total production up, be above, 12, 13. So that's interesting to know. Repay another loan. And complete fabricating claims against Castile. And the agent is immediately discovered. Taking a look at here at the conditions, just checking them. I do notice that actually, we could probably, since we can fabricate claims in Aragon now, we could actually attack them next in a subsequent war. That way, circumventing the truce time with Castile and achieving the conditions we need for the Granada Re-Reconquista achievement. So that's something to take note of. I'm also a little worried about France actually declaring war on Castile. One of the worst things that can happen is because France capitalizing on Spain's weakness, based off the fact that we've been beating them to a pulp, can move into the Spanish peninsula, and that is very bad because that means we're going to have to fight France as well, just to gain control over the territory that we need. And we're probably going to have to do that anyway, but I want to try and keep France out of Spain as much as possible. Nation of Ottomans, faithful allies request you come to the Ottoman conquest of Sinai against Mamluks. Well, I will accept that because I need to keep the Ottomans on my good terms. On the other hand, I'm not going to help them much. I'm not even sure I'm going to bother increasing my army maintenance to help them out, because I don't need to help the Ottomans. They're going to be fine by their own. I don't particularly want to lose any manpower or anything like that, like I did in the last war, so we'll see. But I definitely have to answer their call to arms. So yes, I was saying, I'd probably be wise declaring war at Aragon at some point early on, and then trying to take the, even though they're not that profitable, the northern provinces in Castile, if you know what I mean, so that France doesn't occupy a land border with either Aragon or Castile. And I'll pay off one more loan to go. And much like the last war, Tunis has got the jump on us and has entered into Gadams, which means once more we're not going to gain any territory as a result of this peace. All the more reason not to lend any meaningful assistance to the Ottomans. We are Milte Monarch Power Cap. That said, do I really want to plow Monarch Power into a category that is 50% ahead of time? The answer is probably not. So let's take advantage of our reduced development costs with the merchant skills and start boosting our military development, particularly in our capital, that is zero autonomy and where it's most useful. With that said, it's also useful in provinces where the emirs hold sway. So just taking a look to see best provinces to boost military development. Yeah, our manpower is slowly recovering. Don't have great manpower though. That's because, you know, the overall development of our nation is still pretty low. Although of course it has been helped by the recent conquest of most of Andalusia. Power projection is sky high, which is great. Brings a ton of benefits like increased army morale, trade efficiency, and all that stuff. And I'm just doing a piecemeal, slow and methodical advance into Libya, just like last time we fought the Mamluks. Let's get another trade efficiency advisor. Granada's occupied, sir, so we're completing those occupations. Got one more province to fabricate in Aragon, and then we can think about declaring war on them. Haven't decided exactly what I'm going to do in terms of our next war, but probably be well advised attacking Aragon before they totally capitulate to, well, everyone. Merchant effects. Lose mercantilism or gain it. That's as obvious a decision as I've ever known. Yeah, things are looking fairly good. Reduce our inflation. Our inflation is down to 1.55% now. So that immediately excises the risk of currency destabilize and a whole bunch of other decisions. Yeah, the Ottomans are basically decapitating the Mamluks. That's probably going to be the last time the Mamluks represent any sort of a threat going forward. Knowing the Ottomans, they like to fully occupy the Mamluks. They have the missions to conquer the Levant and Egypt, after all. And that's what they're doing, and the Ottomans will continue to gain in strength. And that is a little concerning. We're using them now, but like I said, with Majorca occupied by Tunis and Tunis allied with Ottomans, I don't see that changing anytime soon. We almost inevitably going to be forced into a showdown with the Ottomans. That is going to be an interesting war. No chance of winning it now, but give us 30 or 40 years and we'll see what we can do. We still have a powerful navy, but our navy is completely eclipsed by the Ottomans, who build a ton of galleys. You can see all their ships streaming around the Mediterranean. They have dozens of them. Truce with Granada ends in 7 years' time. That's interesting. We're coming close to the end of truce a lot quicker than I had anticipated. That's probably because I'm speeding the game up now, since we're out of the sort of danger zone here. So I'll fabricate as many claims as I can and bide my time. Subsequent war with Castile would be fine, but Aragon is probably my preferred choice here. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that now. Don't particularly want Sevilla or best trade province occupied by the emirs. We'll go ahead and throw that over to the Merchants Guild. That's going to boost its trade power from 45 to 56.8. So we gain 11.8 trade power from that decision. 11.8 trade power is a heck of a lot. That's equivalent to about 3 or 4 provinces normally. Demand military support, gain 150 military power. It's increased because their influence levels at a high rate. But I remember we're close to the cap, so I don't push us over the cap. I successfully remember to burn down that military power before we go with the interaction. Pretty proud of myself once more, remembering. See, if we'd gone ahead and done that, we would have wasted about 50 or 75 military power. So we'll take it, 150 military power. Administrative power, let's go ahead and increase our influence so we can get 100. There we go. Looking good. Looking good indeed. Wow, we are only administrative tech level 7. Now that's hurting us because I'd really like a new idea. I'd like a military idea group next. That would save us having to burn so much monarch power and military development, which I'm pretty loath to do overall. But, you know, we'll have to save up some administrative monarch power if we have any hope of getting that third idea group. Yeah, Ottomans are 1 province away from successfully completing the total occupation of the Mamluks. There they go. Let's see what the peace. Do we get... Granada will gain 40 power projection? What? Why? Why did I gain 40 power projection then? And in the last war I only gained 25? I don't understand that at all. We didn't get it. Ottomans didn't give us any territory. Maybe the last time... the last time... I'm not sure if you saw the last episode. The last time I gained 25 power projection. I'm basically doing the same thing. Answering the Ottomans' call to arms. Probably this time the Ottomans... Okay, so probably what happens is I just get a automatic share. Whatever power projection the Ottomans get from conquering territory, that's probably just mirrored to me. Because I now have 100 power projection. I don't even have any privateers. That is awesome. That increases my army morale by so much. You can see it there. Master of Mint dies. We'll have to replace him. With... Don't particularly want a production efficiency advisor. So we'll go ahead and hire and fire advisors until we can get a good replacement. Theologian, don't need a theologian since I have no revolt risk. Looking for a inflation reduction advisor. And I still got my heir leading my army, although... Missionary advisor, actually, I will take that because we still got a bunch of provinces to convert. That'll be handy. Imports compete with Granadian quality. Lose mercantilism or gain it? I wonder what I'm going to pick. Yeah, I think we'll take the mercantilism. We're slowly increasing. We're 18. When we had the decision radical reforms, which we get from having an inflation advisor and a trade efficiency advisor, we opted for the 200 administrative and diplomatic monarch power, which was probably important, but that decision used to be able to repeat multiple times, so you just keep getting it, but now it only occurs once. So that just means we had to forego getting 5 mercantilism from that very powerful decision. Still, I think 400 monarch power, particularly in early stages of the game, far outweighs 5 mercantilism. Unless you're playing, you know, some Merchant Republic, for instance, in which case you're really going to want that mercantilism. In our case, we've only started earning a lot from trade recently. Taking a look to see where we can build more temples. Not many good provinces left, if I'm honest. But we can increase our income by 0.09 by building some workshops. Decisions. Just scanning all my provinces, seeing where we can potentially increase our trade output even more. Since for the first time in this playthrough, we're really starting to get a good foothold in terms of trade. Our heir has died. Yes! Now, that heir was terrible. You remember why I was saying, if you don't like your heir and you want rid of him, put him in command of your army because it doubles the chances of him dying. It's not all locked. There are things you can do, and sure enough, he did die. Tragically, as the caption declared, but not tragic at all in my opinion. And he's been replaced by an excellent heir, well above average. So that is just one of the sort of machinations you can do to influence the game into producing outcomes more favourable to you. There goes our mediocre general, Tushok. He will not be missed. Reminds me to assign a merchant skill to our gold producing provinces, because that increases the amount of gold our provinces produce. Now we are going to boost our development there up to 9, I've decided. Or 8, whatever. And we hit the military monarch power cap. We didn't exceed it by much though, so we didn't lose much, so I'll go ahead and just burn down more military power in development. And you see why I'm really regretting being so far behind in administrative tech. I'd really like a third idea group right now. If I had one, I'd be committing all that excess military monarch power into military ideas, which will be a far better use of them. But as it is, I'm far away from getting a third idea group. So I'm just going to have to manage for now. Get those claims fabricated, since our truce timer is bound to expire soon. I think if I recall correctly, it expires in 1560, if my memory serves me well. Gives us 4 years to gear ourselves up for a subsequent war with Castile. That's going to push us, if we conquer territory, it's going to push us even further behind in our administrative tech level. But that's just something we're going to have to deal with. Still very far behind in tech, but not in the crucial technology level that really matters. That's military tech level. Now you see, the reason I don't want to declare war on Aragon is because Portugal, Anhalt and Teutonic Order. Actually, that's not too bad. We can deal with that, especially if Tunis and the Ottomans are going to join us. Now, fighting Aragon is going to be a little awkward because we're going to have to launch an amphibious landing in the Aragonese coastline. But I think most of their troops are now stationed in Italy because that's where their capital is, having lost that war with Castile. So, yeah, they're in Sicily. So that's not too bad. Alright, folks, I'm going to put a cut in here. As always, thanks for watching. I'll see you shortly.